All of you have brought your bodies here to celebrate the divine presence and to create community. As I've said over the years, community, a spiritual community, brings forth immunity from the lower frequencies of life, the fear, the doubt, and the worry that runs amok in the human condition. You're allowing yourselves to be immune to that by coming into harmony with a community that is progressive and about awakening to our intrinsic nature, our intrinsic being, which is a timeless, dimensionless presence that has recreated itself after its own image and its own likeness and named itself each and every one of us. So every single being here carries the fullness of life itself. That life so trusted you with all of it that it didn't hold anything back. There's nothing missing within you. You are a complete whole spiritual idea that is encompassed in living biology to reflect and to reveal the entire cosmos. This is who you are. This is who you are. And sometimes you may be thinking, narrowing your perception and thinking that your entire life is about paying rent, or your entire life is about getting rid of that pimple on your face or something to that effect. But you are here to represent the entire cosmos. All of the presence, all of the power, all of the love, all of the joy, according to your uniqueness. This infinite presence of God Almighty, God all beauty, God all joy, as you've heard me say, never repeats itself because it is infinite. So each and every one of you represent a unique way by which the Spirit of the living God gets to express itself, which means you're living under a spiritual mandate for excellence, a spiritual mandate to reveal the glory of the living God through and as you. So you're not begging and beseeching God to give you anything. You are praying to come into harmony with what has already been given so that it becomes cultivated, activated, and ultimately expressed. God's waiting on you. You don't have to wait on God. God has trusted you with everything. And for those of you who are new here, when we say the word God, we're not speaking of a man in the sky. We're speaking of a presence that is never an absence of life and love and beauty and joy and intelligence and all of these qualities that are alive within us right now, that's everywhere, that knows itself totally omniscient, knows itself totally omnipotent, the only power and presence that there is, omnipresent, everywhere present, omniactive. That's the energy underlying everything that's trying to express itself. All of that is in you. It's in you. And you have come to set it free. So we have been mining the theme of the month, which has been rules for engagement. Accept, harvest, and forgive. And we've come to a greater and greater understanding week after week that our rules for engagement of this life, of this incarnation, is to realize that this is a school, earth is a school by which we are discovering, cultivating, activating the gifts that have been given to us that are infinite in scope, by the way, and that we are here to bring that which is eternal and timeless into time, and not to be dominated by time and space, but to allow time and space to be the living canvas by which we paint with the colors of our soul. So that as you have taken the great leap into human incarnation, you have not been pushed, you have been pulled by an inner desire to be here at this time in human history to reveal the infinite nature of God that is within you and to express it totally and completely, so that your body becomes an instrument through which you reveal dynamic creativity, dynamic prosperity, dynamic generosity, dynamic love, all of these qualities, which are non-dual, by the way. All of these qualities have no opposite. They have the energy to express themselves fully and completely. And I know your mind is saying, but isn't hate the opposite of love? Please understand, in the spectrum of love, there are higher and higher degrees of love. And then there's places where it's being suppressed, but there's no opposite to love. There's only God, there's only love, there's only peace, there's only harmony. Peace is everywhere except where it's being suppressed by a limited perception, you see. And just because an individual may be suppressing peace or suppressing love or suppressing joy doesn't mean that peace, love, and joy aren't there. It's just being suppressed and not experienced by a limited perception. So you have come here to clear the windows of perception through spiritual practice so that you can begin to see that which is real. Now keep in mind, if you're here for the first time, it appears as though I'm talking a little fast. That's simply an appearance. Actually, I'm speaking like this. Within you, there is a divine, timeless dimension of ultimate reality by which when you wake up to it, it carries the imprimatur of the eternal on your soul. Now, I'm actually speaking at that level. This is all hypnotic spell. You actually think I'm speaking really fast. And the only reason it speaks really fast through me so that it bypasses any doubt, worry, or opinion that might be there, gets right to your soul and makes you remember who you are. You know, so you don't have time to think about that. Do I agree with that? Do I think that God is really everywhere? Do I agree with God is not a man? No, you can't even think about it. It's just in there already. And then it'll wake you up in the middle of the night. And if you're trying to stay asleep, it becomes a nightmare. If you're trying to wake up, it becomes a great vision and a dream. Anyway, I digress. The theme, total engagement or rules for engagement. Realize that you're here, you've chosen to be here to reflect and to reveal the entire cosmos, the timeless, in time, accept, harvest, and forgive has meant for us this morning that we're coming to having an awareness and the ability to accept things that as they are without acquiescing to them. The little example that I used in the earlier service, I use different examples every week, was the fact that you know you're about to get on the 405 freeway. It's rush hour. It should be called slow hour. I don't know why they call it rush hour. Everybody's rushing to get slow. But you're about to get on the freeway, which isn't free at that particular moment, and your mind is already ready to be mad about it. Now you already know it's going to be busy. So why are you going to be mad when you get there? You already know it. And so you get there, so total acceptance would be, here we are, it's slow hour. I accept this, I can't do anything about it. So in my observation, in my neutral ability to witness what it is, I accept that's just the way it is. And in an acceptance that that's the way it is, I don't get caught up in the thought forms that are ready to serve me in any given moment to be angry or upset or impatient. Instead, I begin to harvest from the what is. I got all this time to get a master's degree in my car. I can learn a new language this year. How many hours am I going to be in my car? Oh my God, I can study Thoreau. I can study Beckwith. I can study the teachings of Jesus. I can actually harvest the what is and allow it to birth something within me that's magnificent and great. You just got fired from your job. You have to accept that. In other words, no wishful thinking. No, I wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda. No, you accept what is, you harvest gifts, talents, capacities. What did I learn? Where did I grow? What lessons do I need to learn? You harvest and then you forgive everything else. Forgiveness, the shortcut to forgiveness. Now, we have processes in forgiveness. We have philosophies around forgiveness. We have all kinds of things around forgiveness. But the shortcut for forgiveness is just give up blame. Give up blame. If you give up blame, I'm talking about blaming yourself too. Blaming yourself and others in that particular state of consciousness, you'll begin to notice that will begin to rise up within you or places within you where you have suppressed or repressed thoughts or emotions that have been projected out onto the world that have come back to you as experience, but in your blame, you think it's out there. But when you give up blame, you realize it's just a vortex of energy that you've been snagged by, that's been repressed or suppressed. And then you may have created all kinds of creative compulsive behaviors to keep it suppressed and repressed, to not feel it as it's coming up. So when you just give up blame, it comes up. You remember it, you forgive it, you forget it. But you can't forget it until you remember it. You can't remember it until suppression and repression are released and it comes into the surface. Oh, I know that's a lot of material, but you can receive it. And so here we are, rules for engagement, acceptance, harvest, forgive. And then we step into our topic, which is moving from because to because. From because to because. What do I mean by that? Oftentimes, all of us in this incarnation have human or have emotional disturbances that arise. And there's a part of the virus of the mind to justify that which is coming up. I'm upset because of this. I'm unhappy because of this. I'm unhappy because of this. Warren Earhart used to talk about the fact, he said, I want a man to stand up and say, I was late. I was just late. Not because the traffic was bad, because the alarm clock didn't go off. You're late. So in that same vibration, instead of saying, I have emotional disturbance because of this, no, you just got emotional disturbance. There's this energy there. And what happens is we have inadvertently trained ourselves to justify the energy and find an external reason or justification for that particular energy. And what happens is over a period of time, that particular energy will find justification to be released. It will look for triggers that it can come out and express itself. However, if you begin to understand that a trigger can't pull out what isn't there, you will begin to, whenever the emotional disturbance comes up, flood yourself with so much love in that moment. Don't let the mind go to story. That's what the mind does. It goes to a story. Well, when I was 6 years old. Not saying something bad didn't happen at 6. We're not discounting history, okay? When this happened, don't let it have dominion. Don't let the virus have dominion and create a story. Underneath that is a lie. That thought form that's creating that emotional disturbance is a lie. It's a lie of separation. It's a lie of not enoughness. It's a lie of abandonment. It's a lie of scarcity. All of that is underneath there, and perhaps there was an experience in your life that represented abandonment, that represented scarcity, that represented whatever it is, and that emotional disturbance is just waiting for the right condition or circumstance to leap out again and tell a new story about it. But it's a lie. And if you can stop and breathe and bless and love yourself in the midst of it, don't let it go to story, and then have the capacity through spiritual practice to sit in it. In other words, there's disturbance here, but I'm not letting it go to story. There's some energy here, so I'm not letting it go to story. There's some sadness here, but I'm not letting it go to story. Just sit with it. Your neutral observer will rise. Your witness will rise. Your observer will arise. That's not caught up in it. And witnessing the emotional disturbance that began with a thought form of a lie will begin to be transmuted by your witnessing. And instead of allowing the triggers to amplify what's in there, you'll begin to pull out the root of the mental disturbance that's become emotional disturbance, that's become a virus, that's become justified based on external conditions. You'll begin to pull out the root, and then you'll begin to discover underneath all of that is your sublime, magnificent, luminous, brilliant being that's never been touched by time, circumstance, never been touched by history. Remember a couple of weeks ago, for those of you who were here, and we talked about the fact that your life did not begin in a historical context. The African American life did not begin with slavery. Our Jewish brother's life did not begin with Holocaust. There is an origin that we all come from. It's sublime, it's beautiful, it's life, it's love, it's God. As you begin to not allow story to emerge, you will bump into the timeless dimension of your own being, and then conditions and circumstances and situations will not be your dictator. They will not be the places that run and control you. Instead, the truth will make you free. You shall know the truth of being, and you shall be set free and liberated, and then something beautiful happens. Oh my God, something beautiful happens. You begin to discover conditions and circumstances are congealed thought forms and perceptions that have been held for a period of time, that they have manifested. They have become visible. They have become facts, you see. And when you begin to not allow story to run your life, but to allow the presence of God to become the activity of your awareness, then conditions no longer dominate your moods. Circumstances no longer dominate your moods. And then something else happens metaphysically, since everything is energy. As you're raising your frequency into that which is true, that makes you free, conditions even change. Circumstances change, or they become null and void, because it's just congealed energy. It's just an agreement that we have, and we've had it so long with ourselves that there has been a congealed condition out there. You do not want to be run by conditions and circumstances. You don't want to be run by people, places, and things. You don't want to be run by any of that. You want to be run by a presence that is never an absence. Now, everything that I'm saying to you is simple, but it takes a level of work, play. It takes a moment when you're a snag to stop, take a breath, and all that stuff is going on. No suppression, no repression, no running from it. Just, I'm upset, but I'm not putting a story to it. There's fear here, but I'm not putting a story to it. There's sadness here, I'm not putting a story to it. I sit with it. And then I consider one thing that brings about a level of joy, one thing that brings about a level of peace, just one thing. I place my attention there. I embrace it. And from that dynamic of peace and of love and of harmony, I allow myself to flood my being with that dynamic. And now I discover that I can be happy and enjoy and in peace because of something. And then it transcends even the thing I'm happy about, and you bump right back into your intrinsic nature. Do you realize there's happiness there that has nothing to do with conditions? Are you aware of that? Are you aware there's peace there that has nothing to do with conditions? Are you aware there's love there that has nothing to do with conditions? There's abundance there. There's harmony there. There's elegance there. There's beauty there. It is within you. You are mining it, so that as you are in this rule of engagement, coming into living biology, coming into the earth plane. It's just one plane of existence. There are infinite planes. You're coming into the earth plane to bring eternity here. Now, your vibration and frequency walks on this planet, but you're carrying the absolute presence, and it compels you into right action. Because your ability to hear with that which is beyond ears, your ability to see with that which is beyond eyes, becomes so paramount, so real, that your actions that you take are coming straight from the eternal. That the eternal has strategically placed you here. The eternal has strategically placed you in the right time, the right place. The eternal has placed you here to reflect and to reveal its nature, that all of life may raise up, all of life may be lifted. And so as you're walking and you're listening, you'll come to a great discovery. And that discovery is that right from the teachings of Jesus, where he said they have eyes but see not. They have ears but hear not. What does that mean? That means until there's an initiation, until there's a spiritual practice, until there's the practice of meditation, until there's the practice of real whole soulful prayer, individuals have eyes, but all they see is their own thinking about reality, their own opinions. They have ears to hear, but all they hear is their own opinion about reality or about other people. And that's obscuring their vision. Their perception is limited because they have eyes, but all they're seeing is their thoughts about reality. They have ears, but all they hear is their beliefs about reality. They're not having an encounter. You are here to be encouraged to having spiritual encounter. That is, to practice to such a deep level that you transcend your personal mind, the egoic state, the personality state, and have a direct encounter with the presence. And whenever there is a vibration within you that wants to be free more than it wants to be right, at that moment you are transcending yourself, your little self, and you're placing yourself in the position to have an encounter. Now you're free. Now you're walking. Now you're dancing. Now you're singing. But it's not Taraj. It's the Spirit of God dancing through you. It's Spirit of love operating through you. Spirit of peace. Spirit of creativity. Spirit of joy. Spirit of wellness. Spirit of health. Spirit of dynamic good. Spirit of so much moving through you. And you're flexible and you're pliable. You're not rigid in your thought and your opinion because you're available to the Spirit of the living God that wants to know itself as your very life. You have eyes to see now. You have ears to hear and now. And so what happens? You can begin to recognize opportunities, recognize possibilities, recognize the face of God that is everywhere, not a physical face, but an energetic pattern of love, beauty, and intelligence that wants to scream out its existence as your very life. Which is why he said, if I do not find one worthy, I'll command the rocks to shout out my name. You're here to say, I don't need to let the rocks shout out my name. I can do it. I am. I am. I am. I am. I am. I am. I'm alive. I'm awake. I'm aware. I'm open. I'm receptive. I'm available. I'm flexible. I'm pliable. I'm here. I'm now. Oh my God. And then you become privileged to spontaneous goodness. In a moment you think not. You're in flow. Good shows up in and as your life. And you can't even take credit for it. You know you didn't do nothing. You know it was already there. Double Dutch waiting to jump in. I'm trying to get in here, but oh my God, he's in his opinion. It's the point of view. He's allowing the virus to have a justification. The emotional contagion, he's given a reason for it. Stop it! Let me in! I want to come in. I want to express. I want to live through you. Feel this. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Now, when that was uttered, it wasn't facts. I should know a bunch of facts, and I'll be free. I have some more information, and then I'll be free. I have greater knowledge. No. I shall know the truth of my being. The truth of the eternal that is within me, that is me. As I know the truth of my being, I shall be free. Beyond my opinion of it, beyond my positionality, my point of view, my perception, I'll have an encounter with the truth of my being. Freedom becomes our call, and then you're in the world, you're not of it, but there's work to do. Visions to hold, actions to take place, but not from fear, doubt, worry, lack, limitation, scarcity, not enoughness, from inspiration, from vision, from enthusiasm, from wisdom, from guidance. And so compelling right action takes over, and you're not running away from the world. There are people that try to do that, but they end up still with the same opinions and points of view inside of their awareness, and the whole world is within them, even though they might be on a mountaintop alone. No! You're on the freeway. You're harvesting those moments. You're forgiving everything else. You're in the gook. In the world, in the gook. You're here, not of it, but you're in it. Because you got a gift to give. There's something that wants to celebrate through you. This is why I say frequently, we are here to localize a cosmic celebration. All of nature is celebrating. And we're here to localize that celebration. So hear this again. I'm going to hypnotize you and think I'm talking slower. Rules for engagement. You have arrived on Earth's school. You've chosen to be here. You've chosen to be here to bring that which is eternal into time through you. Creativity. You are a unique being that represents God's infinite nature. No one is exactly like you. You are not exactly like anyone else. So the eternal wants to reveal itself through you. In time, the eternal, in time, time becomes your canvas. And so you learn to accept. When something manifests, you accept it. That's what happened. That's the way it is. I'm going to stay out of wishful thinking. Total acceptance. And then lessons, gifts, talents. What did I learn? What am I learning? You forgive everything else. Then you move from because this is happening because of this, I'm feeling this because of this, so they made me feel that way, they have the power to make me feel this way. No, you move from because to being cause. Because to be cause of your own life. Full responsibility for everything that is there. Not blame. Not blame. Blame and responsibility are not the same thing. Full responsibility. I'm now becoming cause of my own life. No external circumstance can dictate my mood. It can dictate my deeper prayer, my going deeper, to have an insight, a revelation, to be more creative, to be more loving, to be more giving, to be more forgiving. It can only dictate that, but it can't dictate my mood because my mood is not going to have an excuse. It's going to have an observer looking at it. I'll see you. I'll see you bubbling up. You trying to place it over there, huh? You trying to make me think that they're doing this. So it can be justified, so we can do this for 20, 30 years, huh? No, we ain't doing that dance for 20, 30 years. I'm going to observe you until it's transmuted, until the lie underneath of that is revealed, until I have an encounter with the presence of God. I'm set free, and I shall know that truth of my being, and I shall be free. This is. So your assignment this week is just to notice the trigger. Don't blame. Don't blame yourself. Just notice. Just notice it. Just notice it. Observe, observe, observe. Sit in it. Just don't give it an excuse. Just, this is the way I'm feeling. It's not why. I don't care why I'm feeling this way. I'm just feeling this way. Just the way it is. Look at it. Just look at it. Look at it. Put your attention on one thing that brings about a level of joy, a level of happiness. Feel the joy, feel the happiness, and magnify that to the place within you that's feeling less than. Embrace that part and send it so much love and so much peace and so much joy. Transmutation takes place. The virus looking for an excuse starts to lose its power. And little by little by little, you will see that you can walk in the world, not be of it, but be an instrument of the divine. This is not a call for lethargy or apathy. This is a call for empowerment and action based on empowerment. Not based on, I gotta do something. Based on, I see a possibility. My vision is clear. My windows of perception have been cleared off. Now I can walk with the eternal in my step. As Carolyn was singing, walk with me. That's a call for me to be open to that which is here. Walk with me, talk with me. I'm here. I'm available to the presence of God Almighty, all beauty, all joy, all love, all wellness, all well-being, all abundance. It is all here now. But we have to have an encounter with it. Not just a belief system, but a practice that makes us free. And then you'll begin to be aware. You'll start to have, not paranoia, but the noia in which you're thinking something good's always about to happen. Oh my God, I just feel something wonderful is about to happen. I don't know what it is. Something good's about to happen. Oh, I hope I'm big enough to handle it. Something wonderful is about to take place. I'm feeling it. You'll walk with that. Say with me right now, something wonderful is about to happen. Something magnificent is trying to happen. Something beautiful is trying to happen. Something glorious is trying to happen. Something prosperous is trying to happen. Through me, as me, through me, as me, through we, woo-wee. It's happening now, baby. It's happening now. It's happening right now. Now. It's happening now. Now. It's happening right now. Now. Prosperity now. Health now. Healing now. Wellness now. Well-being now. Elegance now. Abundance now. Order now. Harmony now. Peace now. Beauty now. God now. That's where we live. That's where we abide. That's where we hang out.